Hello everyone, welcome to another edition of Sector 5. Oh my gosh, I cannot believe I'm uttering that sentence to you. And in case you do not remember, because it's been a while, I am your host, as always, Cody the Hangman Heinzman. You can see I am joined again with Jeremy. And, oh boy, do we have some catching up to do. So, last video that was uploaded to this channel was Extreme Rules 2021. And I did make an update video back then, kind of explaining why there wasn't videos at that time. And not a lot has changed, but not a lot has changed on the update that I need going on. First, you may notice I'm in a different location. We'll get to that a little bit shortly. So, usually, I tend to bring back the channel for at least WrestleMania predictions and everything, and I haven't done it the past 2 years. One of the reasons for not doing it back in 2022 is my laptop is still kind of indisposed at the moment. I still need to figure out what's going on with that. So that was one of the reasons. Other things that happened back in 2022. WrestleMania was in April, so this didn't happen till after WrestleMania, so this didn't affect it. But I got fired from the job I was at. So that put a damper into 2022 a little bit. So basically, WrestleMania predictions didn't happen because of the laptop, and to be perfectly honest with you, I had to look up what happened in 2022's WrestleMania to give Jeremy a chance to talk a little bit before we go talking into more of this. Do you remember anything that happened in 2022's WrestleMania?
2022, so that would have been what, WrestleMania 38?
Yeah.
That would have been, I think the most notable thing I can remember is that was the unification match between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, where they unified the WWE and Universal title. Stone Cold returned for a singles match against Kevin Owens. Other than that, what else? I cannot really think of anything that was memorable.
I think Bianca Belair won the Raw Women's Championship that year too, but not 100% sure on that.
Wasn't that? No, that was SmackDown. That was WrestleMania 37. WrestleMania 37 was the first show to have a live audience since the lockdown, since the COVID thing.
The other notable one that I noticed whenever I was looking back to see what happened, to see why I may not have done it, Sami Zayn took on the guy from Jackass in 2022. Yeah, that was another one.
I remember that. That was...
So, that may have factored into it. I don't know if I was too invested in that WrestleMania. I mean, WrestleMania season is the biggest one, so that's why I try to. But I guess between the laptop and other things going on, I just did not pan out, I guess. Now, the big one with 2023. And I'm going to try my best to stay composed while talking about this. But I don't know how well it's going to work. 2023 WrestleMania time. My pap had a stroke and passed away like day 2 of day 2 of WrestleMania. Day 1 of WrestleMania, they called the family together to be there in his final moments, and we were supposed to go up again on day 2 of WrestleMania, but he passed later the night of I think early morning of day 2 of WrestleMania last year. So that was a big factor on why there was not a 2023 WrestleMania predictions. I don't even know if I could coherently get through a video, to be honest with that. So that is basically the update on what's going on. My laptop is not working. I'm going to hopefully get that figured out if I need to, which I do need to. But let's explain why I'm in a different location a little bit. I'm at Jeremy's house. He has his own YouTube channel now. So I leave it to him if he wants to promote it or anything at the time being. I meant to ask before we hit record, but I forgot.
I'm not going to go into that. I would like to, but I kind of want to remain anonymous on that channel. So,
That's what I figured. But yeah, that's why we are recording in this location. Jeremy has his own YouTube channel now and has the setup and was like, "Hey, you want to do WrestleMania predictions this year?" And I'm like, "Well, yes, but let's go ahead and do what this video is actually going to be about." And I'm going to try and experiment with like the channel tabs at the bottom, the shortcuts. That way, if anyone wants to just skip past the update, they can. Which I should have said at the beginning of the update, not towards the end of the update. But there'll be channel tabs for anyone in the future watching, want to come back and look at this video, they can flip to wherever. But the actual content, besides the update, is Elimination Chamber predictions. Just so we can get a video on the channel giving an update on everything, so I don't have to do it during WrestleMania. And Elimination Chamber, not much to talk about, really. But we'll go ahead and get started on that. So this is the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. Not pay-per-view. They're not pay-per-views anymore. Predictions. So the kickoff match, a usual format is we talk about non-title matches and then start talking about title matches, but this show is technically all title matches or contenderships for title matches. Mm-hmm. So we're just going to leave talking about the chamber matches as the last two things we talk about. So the first thing we'll talk about is the match that they just announced today as recording this video. You got the Kabuki Warriors defending their women's tag team titles against Candice, LeRea, and Indi Hartwell. And that is on the Kickoff show. That is why we are kicking us off with this matchup.
See what you did there.
I was taking a sip, giving you a chance to talk there.
Oh, all right. Well, I don't really have anything to say about this match because, one, I don't really know too much about Indi Hartwell or Candice LeRae. I don't see them. My prediction is that Kabuki Warriors will retain because.
Why would they drop it before WrestleMania?
Yeah, why would they drop it before WrestleMania? Which, I mean, it's WWE, so never say never. But with the story they got building, I could see. Honestly, I could see them because they're going to retain. I almost 100% guarantee they're going to retain, and then have to where Dakota Kai and Bayley challenge for maybe night one, and then have Bayley at WrestleMania, and then have Bayley face Io Sky for the women's title on night 2.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. Honestly, I didn't put a lot of thought into this matchup since it was just announced a few hours ago, so I'm kind of coming up with my thoughts on the fly. And if it wasn't on the Kickoff show, I could see something where Bailey would have cost the Kabuki Warriors the titles.
I mean, that could still happen because, like I said, it's WWE and it's part of the show, so people are still going to be watching it. It's not like, I mean, there'll be an audience and there'll be people watching, so it's not like it's not a dark match or anything like that. So that could very well happen.
I mean, it would fit with the women's tag team title. They really haven't put a good stock in those tag titles.
No, they really haven't.
So, if I were to put a prediction, I'm going to say the Kabuki Warriors are going to retain. Like I said, why are they going to drop it before WrestleMania? Unless we have some kind of swerve from Bailey, which who knows if Bailey is even there because they are in Australia.
Right.
So, final thoughts, Kabuki Warriors retain their titles.
Agreed.
Which leads us to the next match that I have, another tag team title match. You have Judgment Day, Finn Balor, and Senior Money in the Bank, Damian Priest, defending their unified tag team titles against Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate.
For me, I think Judgment Day is going to retain. Just because they're kind of building a story between that. And I think they're going to... It seems to me that they're going to have The Miz and R-Truth
Take them on at WrestleMania.
Reunite and maybe take them on at WrestleMania for the tag titles.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
So that could be... I love how we've talked about two matches so far and they both led to us talking about WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're on the road to WrestleMania.
That's very true.
So it's we can't just put our biases aside and be like, if WrestleMania wasn't around the corner, what do we think? We do have to consider WrestleMania in our thoughts on everything. Which, again, we are probably going to... I also agree that Judgment Day is going to retain... Do I think it's going to be a good match? Yeah, I think this is going to be a pretty good... Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate's going to put on a good show. A little too early in them being a tag team to be like, here you go. And another thing, which I'm going to aside to WrestleMania with this same matchup, I kind of wonder if we're finally going to get a unified belt at WrestleMania for the tag titles, or if after WrestleMania we're going to split them back to their brands.
It's hard to say with that. I don't really have... Because either way it could happen. I don't see them splitting them back up. And again, they might.
Which leads us to the next matchup. You have Rhea Ripley defending her women's championship against Nia Jax. And it's hard for me to think that Rhea Ripley's going to drop the title before WrestleMania.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Because she's had it for so long.
She won it at WrestleMania last year.
So... I don't see it. And I don't see them giving the title to Nia Jax. It's just not something I see happening.
Plus, it'll lead more into our thoughts in the women's one as well. With the storyline that's going on, I think we all probably know what the plan is for WrestleMania for Rhea Ripley. So I don't know if there's more we need to talk about with this matchup, or...
That kind of segues into the women's chamber match.
Yeah, that's...
Which, isn't that where we're at now?
That's where I'm heading
so,
to.
Yeah, we're going to segue right into that.
Your competitors in this matchup, you have Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Bianca Belair, Tiffany Stratton, and Raquel Rodriguez. And to make it a little bit interesting to talk about these instead of just being like, I think XYZ person's going to win, I came up with the idea of I kind of want to predict who our starting two people in the matchup's going to be, who the first person eliminated might be, and who the last two standing is going to be, and then talk about the winner. So I don't know, did you go anywhere on this, or...
I don't really have a horse in this race because I don't really know too much of the storylines going on involving these women. So I just kind of went out and said that Becky Lynch was going to win, and because that seemed to be setting up something there, so that was my guess. But as far as the actual match goes, that's kind of up in the air for me because I have no idea what's going on.
So if I were to predict who I think is going to start out the Rumble, I definitely think Liv Morgan's going to be one of the two that's starting us.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And as a second, I'm going to say we're starting the match off Liv Morgan versus Raquel. And then the first person I think is going to be eliminated from this matchup just because she's not a former tag team champion, not a former women's champion. She's kind of the dark horse in this matchup. Tiffany Stratton. I'd hate to be like, this looks to be our obvious first person, but I don't see anyone else going out before her.
Didn't she just recently get called up to the main roster?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, yeah, I don't see her going far in this match. She might not be the first person eliminated, but she's definitely going to be an early elimination.
I mean, the only person I can think of that I may put as a second as the first person eliminated might be Raquel.
I can see that, yeah.
I was originally going to say Liv Morgan, but they got this whole revenge angle going. So, I don't know. That's my prediction. We're going to start the match off with Liv Morgan and Raquel. The first person potentially eliminated is going to be Tiffany. And then the last two women in the matchup is, I'm thinking we're going to have Becky Lynch and Naomi as the last two. Ultimately with Becky Lynch winning, because obvious is obvious. They have definitely been building up Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley for WrestleMania.
Right.
Which leads us to the last matchup to talk about, the
big one.
Men's. So you have some thoughts on this one, it looks like, so I'm going to let you take the stand.
Alright, so I put a lot of thought into this match. So we have our competitors, Randy Orton, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Logan Paul, Bobby Lashley, and LA Knight. So, as far as who starts the match off, I can almost guarantee it's going to be Kevin Owens and Logan Paul. For sure. Without a shadow of a doubt. Those two are starting us off.
Okay. I have a counter argument with that, but I'm going with you.
But as far as eliminations go, I think Kevin Owens is going to eliminate Logan Paul. I think that's how this play out. Kind of like a payback situation for what happened at Royal Rumble. And then Bobby Lashley will be the one to eliminate Kevin Owens. Now, maybe not in this order because of the way I have it out. Kevin Owens, Logan Paul will start out, and then LA Knight will join in, followed by Bobby Lashley, and then Drew McIntyre, and then Randy Orton will come out last. So Bobby Lashley will take out Kevin Owens. I think Randy Orton will be the one to eliminate LA Knight. Because they had that matchup at the Royal Rumble in the Fatal 4-Way. So maybe there might still be some beef there. I feel like those two will kind of go at it. And then I think Drew McIntyre will eliminate Bobby Lashley, and then I scratched out and then put back. No, I think it'll come down to Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. I wrote Bobby Lashley on my notes, but that's not what I meant to write. So, but yeah, it'll come down to Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, and Drew McIntyre will get the win. The reason I say Drew McIntyre is because they've been building up this story with him. The World Heavyweight Championship. He's kind of got a thing going with Seth Rollins and CM Punk, but CM Punk's injured, so obviously that's not going to be anything that we see play out for at least 6 to 8 months or however long it takes for him to come back. But yeah, that's how I got this played out in my head. I think that's how it's gonna go. Maybe not in that particular order, but I think in some way, shape, or form that's kind of how it plays out. So, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
So, I have wrote down here, I think Randy Orton and LA Knight's actually going to start us. And my main reason for not thinking that Logan Paul is going to be one of the starters is I can see him, I think he's coming out. He's going to be the first person to come out of the pod. Mm-hmm. And he's going to do that heel coward thing where he just shuts the pod and stays in the pod until the next person comes out.
Oh, okay.
And then I think that's when Kevin Owens is going to come out, and then he's going to rip him out of the pod.
You know, I thought about something like that, and I'm kind of that could be the case. Actually, that sounds a little more
Logan Paul
suitable for the character. So they could go that route. I'm not going to argue with that. That would actually be pretty clever.
But the person I do have being first out, I mean, obvious is Logan Paul would probably be the first person out, but at the same time, I feel it's too obvious.
Yeah, I feel like if they maybe this is what you're going into, somebody hits Kevin Owens with a big move, and then Logan Paul comes from behind with the knucks or something, and then steals the pinfall. Mm-hmm. And then eliminates Kevin Owens. I could see that being a thing.
Yeah, that's true too. I didn't think about it that way. My thought of the first person eliminated, I'm actually putting it down as Bobby Lashley. As
first person eliminated?
As first person, Bobby Lashley.
I could see that because he's not really involved.
Right,
in the storyline, so I could see that.
Yeah. You got your Kevin Owens and Logan Paul storyline that they're leaving towards WrestleMania. Take a shot every time we say WrestleMania. Mm-hmm. Please call an ambulance.
Yeah, don't do that if you... No.
But, you got your storyline between Kevin Owens and Logan Paul, so that's going to play out. Really kind of have a storyline between Randy Orton and LA Knight, so that's kind of why I put that first. And then Drew McIntyre, I do think is winning this. Obvious is obvious. But I'm also agree with you that him and Randy Orton is going to be the last two, which made it a little bit difficult for me to think that Randy Orton's going to be one of the starting people. Mm-hmm. But
I definitely don't see Randy Orton being one of the starting people, though. Now I'm thinking about it because he just came back. Mm-hmm. So people are going to obviously want to see him compete.
Right.
So you keep him in the pod and people are going to...
Yeah.
They're going to be waiting to see when he gets out what he's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's why I didn't really even go towards the realm of him being one of the first ones out, because then that's your star power right there. You want to build him up,
mm-hmm,
because he's arguably the biggest star in that match.
Right. So, but those are my thoughts on it. I mean, who knows? Logan Paul could be one of the starting people. I mean, that's what you got is Logan Paul being the starter. Do we have it start out with Logan Paul and Kevin Owens? I'm doubtful on that one. We could start at Logan Paul and Bobby Lashley potentially, and then Kevin Owens comes out of the pod.
I don't see that because I don't know, because it wouldn't make sense because they're on two different shows and they have nothing to do with each other. You could play it out to where like Logan Paul's trying to like get away from him because he's a bigger guy, and he'll like, oh, I don't want to fight you, I don't want nothing to do with you, and maybe he introduces the Nux during that fight, and maybe if he does start with Bobby Lashley, Kevin Owens will come out, and then or LA Knight or whoever. It could do anything could happen. I mean, it's an elimination chamber.
It's supposed to be random.
Very much so.
So that's why I just thought it'd be interesting instead of just being like, I think Drew McIntyre is winning the Elimination Chamber, to go down and be like, these are who I think is going to start us. This is who I think is going to be eliminated first, and our last two is going to be these people. So yeah. As a recap on it, I'm thinking Randy Orton and LA Knight start us. Bobby Lashley's first eliminated. And the last two in the matchup possibly will be Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton. Drew McIntyre 100% because I don't see why he's not winning this.
I'll just recap my thoughts. Also, I'm not going to go into the whole spiel because I kind of went a little more in depth about it. I still think Kevin Owens, Logan Paul starts. I think Logan Paul will probably be the first one eliminated. Or maybe, you got me thinking about when you talk about Kevin Owens, maybe Logan Paul stealing a pin. That could be a thing. Or, who knows? Maybe he'll get caught with an RKO. We don't know yet. So, I do think Logan Paul will be the first one eliminated. Maybe not by Kevin Owens, but I think he will be. And I think it will come down to Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton to finish off the match because those are the two probably biggest stars in that match. Mm-hmm. And then you would have, a face and a heel, coming down to a face and a heel. So that's where I'm at with it.
I'm definitely in the realms that Logan Paul is going to some way cost Kevin Owens, or Kevin Owens will eliminate Logan Paul, and then Logan Paul finds a way to get back in the chamber, or before he leaves, hits him with something, which leads to Kevin Owens' elimination, just to set up WrestleMania a little bit.
An outside attack, someone comes out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that happened. That's happened before. The biggest one I can remember is Edge attacking Kofi Kingston and taking his spot in the World Heavyweight Chamber match after being the first one eliminated in the WWE Chamber match. And the same night, comes back and wins the World Heavyweight title after pretty much stealing the spot from Kofi Kingston.
Which, while we're wrapping this up a little bit, I think we finished our thoughts on that. How do you feel about there not being a title match at Elimination Chamber? Like, actually in the chamber. Both chambers are number one contender.
We're pretty much used to championships not being defended at premium live events because over the past few years there seem to have been a lot of part-time champions. I mean, you have Roman Reigns, who does not attend every show, and with Brock Lesnar in the past. Just guys that aren't really there defending. or shows that they just don't have a title match for whatever they involve the champion in something else. Yeah, so yeah, like the big example would be what was it? Survivor Series of 2022? Yeah. Because Roman Reigns was involved in the War Games match.
Mm-hmm.
So there was no title defense because that was before the World Heavyweight Championship was reintroduced.
Right.
So there wouldn't have been any other world title at the time. So you just kind of get used to there being no big title matches at PLEs. This is something you just kind of like, whatever.
Right.
And it gets me though because there are the big four. The big four being SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, and WrestleMania. This is the big four. You definitely want to have your big title, your company's title, being defended in those, if not any other time of the year, at least those four.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of what happened. It just acted a little funny. Yeah, I would like to see more title defenses. It's nice that we have Seth Rollins with the World Heavyweight title because we saw more title defenses. But with the World Heavyweight title, the World Heavyweight title hasn't been around in. It's been about actually 10 years since the World Heavyweight title has even been seen. Mm-hmm. So. That's my thoughts on it. I don't mind it as long as there's a payoff at the end. As long as you're building up to something that's memorable and something that's good, something that's gonna make it all worth not having that title defended. If there's a end game that's decent, I'm okay with it for the most part.
I gotcha. I was thinking about this recently, and I feel that Bayley's storyline could have been done a little bit better.
In what way?
I feel like they rushed her to be like, hey, who are you facing? It didn't let us sit there and figure it out. Like, I thought about this recently, and we could have had in Io Sky defending her women's title in a chamber match and defending it, and Bayley coming out there and either attacking her or Bayley gets in the ring and celebrates with Io and Io attacks her or something to build up to that match a little bit. I feel like the storyline was weak on why we're having Bayley versus Io Sky.
If you actually think about it, it actually makes sense because they've been building up to this moment. This is one of those. Long-term storytelling. It's not that long. It's not like finishing the story long. But it has been building up, so we kind of knew the direction that Bayley was going to go into just because of the story they were telling with Damage Control. You could see that they were kind of slighting Bayley. Mm-hmm. You could see what was going on in the build-up. So it was pretty obvious. There was no need to wait. She came out there. I think they did it perfectly, actually. Okay. You got the whole team out there. She's talking, and then the gears start turning, and then she turns and knows what's going on. And I've learned Japanese, and I know what y'all have been saying. And then she picks Io Sky, and I think they played that out. For me, maybe they could have waited Maybe they could have waited till after. Maybe they could have had it play out a little longer. But I think, for what it's worth, I think they did a good job with that, in my opinion.
I would at least wait till after, because that's one of the things with these predictions. you could pull anybody off of here with the chamber and be like, if you're paying attention to what's going on, you know what's going to happen, which I think takes the fun out of it a little bit.
If you're doing something like this, yeah, it could probably take the wind out of your sails. But I more so am a fan of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have that mindset. Like, I think I know what's going to happen, but I still want to watch it and see if it actually happened or if something else happened. They could have went either way.
Right.
WWE is good at throwing curveballs here and there.
Right.
You think you know the direction they're going in, and then boom, something else happens. Like the whole thing with Cody Rhodes and The Rock.
Mm-hmm.
Although there's a lot of speculation that was... Some people say that was planned all along. Some people say that they wanted to go with Roman and The Rock, but people were like, nah. So I didn't think that... If anything didn't make sense, going off topic, going a little more into WrestleMania territory, just because this is probably the best storyline that they have done in a very long time, and probably my favorite story so far. And it's been an ongoing story since before Cody even came back to WWE, and I think
not me.
I think that is really cool that you could have Cody Rhodes come back. And then, I'm going to finish the story. He wins the Rumble. He gets screwed over. And he fights his way back. He fights his way through Brock Lesnar, Shinsuke. And then gets back into the Royal Rumble. Wins again for a second year in a row, which hasn't been done since
10 years ago.
Was it 10 years ago?
I think that's what they said. It was like 10, 20 years ago.
It wasn't 10 years ago, because 10 years ago would be 2014. 1995 or 96, I think, because I think the last person to do it was Stone Cold.
I believe that's what it was when I was looking into it.
Yeah, because he won in 97, it was 97 and 98. Because 99 was Vince McMahon, and then 2000 was The Rock. So yeah, Stone Cold Steve Austin, I'm pretty sure, 97 and 98. Because I know for a fact he won 98, because that was when he won his first. He would go on to WrestleMania to face Shawn Michaels and win his first WWE Championship. So I think that climbing his way back up, it's like I said, long-term storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
And when you tell the story right, when you do everything you need to do, have the right people involved, and just telling a good story, and make sure that the payoff is worth waiting for. You don't want to carry this story out for 2 years and then have... Because if Roman Reigns wins at WrestleMania 40, you thought the backlash was bad from the Rock trying to come in the main event. You haven't seen anything. I guarantee you, people will be very, very, very pissed off.
Let's just say, don't be in Philadelphia that day.
Yeah, Philly's one of those wrestling cities you don't even want to fuck with. I'm talking ECW. If back in the day when they had the ECW pay-per-view with John Cena facing RVD,
mm-hmm.
and they were all holding up signs. Most of them were holding up signs that said, "If Cena wins, we riot." Yeah, they would have. That was no joke. They would have rioted. It would have been bad. So yeah, don't fuck with Philly. That's my hashtag. Don't fuck with Philly. There we go. That's what we're talking about.
But yeah, that's WrestleMania predictions are gonna be fun.
Yes, I am excited. I am ready for that. That is something I am ready for.
That's why we needed to get this out of the way, so we can get the update out of the way, get the rust out of making a video for me, because it's been a few years.
I got a little bit of course, my channel is more just me talking. You don't really see me, so it's a little easier in my opinion to talk and not have, because I don't have to worry about my facial expressions or
mm-hmm.
because like a lot of body language and stuff. I don't have to worry about that. I just talk. So I guess the big thing here, and everybody's probably wondering here on your channel, is this the big return, or is this gonna be?
I'm hoping this is the big return, at least for talking about the premium live events. Definitely the backyard wrestling content. I think that is indefinitely that part of Sector 5 is done. That story is done. But
Never say never.
yeah, it's true. Never say never. Especially this year, with the way YouTube's going, with people coming back, people retiring. So it's kind of fitting that I came back this year. I did not expect to be gone as long as I was. Like I said, I try to come back at least for WrestleMania season. But as long as I'm allowed to use this setup, and definitely moving forward, this is probably going to be the norm. Instead of just me doing the predictions or me having both the Crusher Becker with me, is probably going to be me and Jeremy moving forward.
I didn't tell him this yet, but if you ever need to record, if you ever need to come over and do you want to do a video, even if it doesn't involve me, you're more than welcome to come over, use the setup. I don't mind.
Okay, but yeah, I'm looking to get with someone to look at the laptop. That way, if I do just need to do a video by myself and can't obviously use this setup, I still have mine that I can do the videos and everything. Another thing I didn't bring up in the update as well is I used to have a backup phone that I was using, and that got stolen early 2023. So yeah, there's been a lot that's happened since the last video. But hopefully, moving forward, we can at least get our thoughts and reviews on the live events. And as always, I'm Cody the Hangman Heinzman. He is Jeremy. And that's just how it is.
Peace.